Welcome to the October Engage event. We are thrilled to have you here today. Get ready for an exciting lineup as we hear from 7 fantastic vendors who are eager to share their insights and innovations with us. A few remarks about the event today. Just reminders before we kick things off. We just want to remind you to anonymously influence the channel through your feedback to the polls that'll pop up on your screen after every 7-minute vendor pitch. In the moderated chat, you'll only be chatting with our producer. Moderators, attendees, and vendors cannot see your chat. Public chat is only for the MSPs. So keep an eye out for broadcast messages. We have 7 vendor presentations that are 7 minutes long. You have approximately 2 minutes and 30 seconds to fill out the poll after every person's individual presentation. And just a quick reminder also that if you fill out the poll for every presenter today, you could get a $15 gift card. So thank you for participating. Also, at the end of all the vendor pitch presentations, we'll display the vendor-specific breakout room links. This page will be available for about 30 to 45 minutes after the end of this presentation. You can visit as many breakout rooms as you like. There are some incentives included. And Orban, you're going to fill us in on these later. So excited to hear about that. And the last reminder, at the end of the event today, the very last poll question, we want to know who had the best pitch. So make sure you fill that in. So Orban, why don't you get us started and tell us who is up first today?
Thanks, Lisa. Please join me in welcoming our first speaker, Guy, CEO at Actifile.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we'll talk today about how to safeguard sensitive data everywhere, leveraging our data security platform for MSPs. So my name is Guy Bavli. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders at Actifile. I'm actually on a mission. We're on a mission to eliminate the weakest link in every MSP security stack. Why? Because no MSP can really protect sensitive data, which is the goal of every security framework, cannot really protect sensitive data with just more fences and locks. Actifile enables MSPs to effortlessly, really simply, gain visibility and protect your crown jewels, your customer crown jewels, the sensitive data. So how is this platform work? How is this dynamic data security platform for MSPs work? It provides you the ability to monitor and secure sensitive data on one centralized platform, managed cloud-based platform with 4, I would say, qualities of benefits. From left to right. First of all, you can create visibility, which is essential to anything you do with data, of course, and you can see and monetize the data risk. Actifile has a very unique approach with a very capable algorithm that can show you data risk in US dollars across all your file repositories. That is on endpoints, on file servers, and of course on cloud shares like Office 365 and Google Workspaces. It then, of course, ensures compliance with all the data privacy and standard regulation like CIS-8 and NIST 800 and CMMC and of course HIPAA, etc., FTC. It offers you the ability to, which is crucial, to gain forensic evidence on the data. We're not talking about who broke in or what type of vulnerability do you have, but actual forensic data of what happened with your data, with your sensitive data, who took what where, in case, God forbid, there is a breach or a leakage. And eventually we have in our platform the ability to not just view the sensitive data, not just understand the potential risk and gain forensic evidence, but also minimize, reduce data breach risks, whatever they come from, whether it's a ransomware stealing data or insider threats, with our very unique managed encryption, which of course puts you in safe harbor in any case. So the ability is to lock down the sensitive data, reduce data and compliance risk, by over 90% reduction. How does it work? Step one is to discover and classify sensitive data. So through our multi-tenant Microsoft Azure-based management portal, you deploy ActiveFile across Windows, Mac, Windows Server, Linux Server, NAS, Terminal Server, Office 365 across all the components, and recently also Google Workspaces. And the system starts immediately discover and classify, aggregate files with sensitive data out of the box. You don't need to really define anything. It's out of the box. Second thing, you immediately start seeing the risk, the data risk, and quantify the data risk. So not just how many files, how many records, what type of files, and so on, but do we have 1,000 files with $10,000 worth of risk, or maybe we have 20 files with $300,000 worth of risk? And the approach to minimize the risk to each and every one of them is different. So the quantification is very important. We enable you to monitor the flow of data. So who's using what applications, what users, and eventually with our dynamic automated encryption, encrypt when you choose to all identified data without changing the end user experience. So internal data risk reduced quickly. Everyone inside the organization, inside the virtual organization, doesn't have to be physically sitting in one place, can open those files, no password, no user, no latency. Just like that, wherever the file is, including offline. And if the file is stolen or misplaced outside the organization, of course, it stays encrypted and nobody can access it. Very quick way to reduce the risk without changing any business process or any end user experience. We do that with radical simplicity, rapid deployment, set and forget, built-in risk calculation, autonomous identification. We talked about dynamic encryption with zero impact on your environment and achieving compliance very quickly. ActiveFile is unlike any legacy data security solutions. You heard probably about DLP, traditional encryption, and so on. It reduces the risk by more than 90% within hours from deployment. It utilizes our transparent decryption, and those standards, those compliance standards, can be achieved within days instead of months. Few screenshots of how our system looks like. This is a screenshot of our specific tenant risk portal. You can see that they have a total risk of $4 million, which out of that 80% roughly in the green, and about 20% is still residual and waiting to be handled. You can see that very quickly. You can understand the data risk by types of classifications like SSNs, driving license, passports, EIN numbers, EPHI, and so on. You can understand risk by applications, and of course understand those, very interesting shadow application like WhatsApp Web, or if the organization is not based on Google Drive, people are pushing out files and using those applications, and all of that is of course under the radar and unnoticed. So ActiveFile provides you the visibility, and if those files that were exfiltrated were encrypted, you're good to go, nothing happened. And we can even go to specific devices and any type of file repositories. We are enabling MSPs to enter the data security market, trusted by a lot of MSPs and cybersecurity partners, and we're looking forward to see you in our breakout room. We have a gift card ready for everyone that joins us. Thank you very much, Journal Program, for inviting us, and looking forward to see you in the breakout room.
Hi, Lisa. I just want to let you, can you unmute yourself? We can't hear you. And Auburn.
Thank you so much. Well, I was just saying a thanks to Guy today for joining us. Our producer is sending out the poll now. So it's your chance to influence the channel anonymously. You have 2 minutes to complete the poll. And just a reminder that after the vendor polls go up, we'll have a channel meeting poll going up for you to answer as well. So while you're all filling in the poll, I did want to mention the channel program technology map. I would take a few minutes to tell you a little bit more about that report. If you haven't already seen it, it's the most comprehensive and up-to-date report detailing the latest trends in the MSP solution technology. It's entirely channel focused. You won't find data and insights like this anywhere else. We're going to post a link in the chat now, so you will have access to it. But if you do miss that, you can always head to our website. It's available under the research tab. And Auburn, I will give it to you to tell us who's up next. Hopefully we're done with the poll now.
Our next vendor pitching is Andy, the security evangelist at Hornet Security.
Hello, hello. This thing's on. Hey, thanks for the introductions. Appreciate it. And thanks for all of you joining us today. We've got a lot to cover in just the 7 minutes I have. So we're going to dive right in here. And as part of this presentation, I'm going to be talking about our newest product, M360, our 365 multi-tenant manager for MSPs that will help you manage your end customers' 365 environments. But I want to start by talking about a reality that we all have to deal with in the MSP space, right? And we have a management issue in the MSP space, right? And so let's look at 365 specifically. Now, let me pose a question to you. What Microsoft administrative portal or console are you going to use to configure email security? Well, you would use the Exchange Admin Center for that, right? Or some of those functions that have historically been in the Exchange Admin Center have since moved over to security.microsoft.com. Well, what about if you want to enable MFA? Well, you got to go over to the Entra Admin Center for that, or the artist formerly known as Azure AD, right? And that's another issue with the Microsoft Cloud ecosystem is products change, their names change, features move from suite to suite, right? That's another issue. What if you need to configure Teams policies? Well, head right on over to the Teams Admin Center. So you see where I'm going with this, right? In the last 30 seconds, I've shown you 3 different management portals to solve 3 different issues. And the last time I looked, there were 17 plus. And I say plus because I'm not entirely convinced it's only 17, but there are 17 plus management portals for the Microsoft Cloud ecosystem. And so we have a management headache, right? And so here's the thing. It's not just about portals though, right? So what you see on the screen here is just a quick screen capture of m365maps.com. Fantastic website if you want to try and wrap your brain around the insanity that is Microsoft licensing. And so what you see on the screen here, every single one of these boxes is a feature inside of 365 or inside the Microsoft Cloud somewhere. And again, it's not enough to just understand each management portal and where I need to go to do what I'm trying to do for the customer that I'm currently working with. Not only do we have to know that, we have to understand each of these boxes, what they do, how they're applicable to our end customers. And it becomes a very, not just a heavy management lift, but a heavy knowledge lift as well, right? And so let's kind of frame this in terms of pain points specifically for MSPs, right? And so again, I've already talked about the time-consuming aspect of setup and management for 365 services across those 17 plus admin portals. I just showed you all the different features that are contained within 365. Staying afloat with those and keeping up to date on how they work and what they do is difficult. And you've got customers that are in regulated industries, HIPAA, PCI, SOX, whatever other ones, GDPR, right? There's a ton of them out there. Certain settings have to be set a certain way to adhere to certain, settings, certain guidelines within those frameworks. And then that inability and ultimately, the inability to standardize, automate, and ultimately scale becomes problematic for you as the MSP trying to handle all this. And of course, there's always one-offs. One-offs need to be handled as well too, which is, the antithesis of standardization. And so we looked at some hard numbers here, and we talked to a lot of different MSPs. And again, these are averages that you see on the screen here. And so we found that the average onboarding time for, bringing on a 365 customer for an MSP is about 12 hours. Now, you're going to tell me, Andy, yes, there are some that take vastly more time than that. And I totally acknowledge that. I spent 10, 15 years in the MSP trenches myself. Yes, there are customers that take longer than 12 hours. There are some customers that'll take 4 times that amount of time, right? But there's those mom and pop shops as well that take an hour, maybe 2, right? And so we found that the average is around 12 hours per onboarding. Same thing for your average per month management per end customer. We found that each MSP takes about 3 hours per customer per month for ongoing management and maintenance tasks. Now, I talked with some that it was 5 hours per week. I talked with some that I think I had one that was 5 minutes per week. So again, 3 hours is an average. So what we found with our data here is that roughly 60 customers is kind of the point to where you now have a full-time person that is handling your ongoing M365 management and maintenance for your 365 customers. And just a reminder, we're talking, about 2,000-ish hours, depending on how much vacation that person has. So what can we do to help with this situation? Well, we've released, again, our newest solution, a 365 multi-tenant manager for MSPs. It is a, surprise, multi-tenant solution for helping you wrap your hands around all these various settings inside of the Microsoft Cloud for your 365 customers. And it helps in a number of different ways, right? So it provides one single portal for you to handle settings. And additionally, if you're utilizing any of our other security services, they're all in that same portal as well. So you've got user-friendly wizards that helps easily guide you through things. So it eases that knowledge burden of having to understand those various features and capabilities. You can leverage our knowledge and utilize our wizards to help you enable these settings across your customer base. We have, I think at release, we were around 70 out-of-the-box settings and policies that you can apply to your 365 customers. And really, it amounts to a clear overview of your compliance status across your customers with regards to those policies and settings you define, and ultimately ends up saving you a ton of time. And we know in the MSP world, time is money, right? And so when we talk about automation, how does this work really? So the first thing that we do with our solution is you go through a simple authentication process with the Microsoft Partner Portal, and we pull in your customers so that you can actually see them inside of our UI. And from there, it's a simple process of defining your policy settings, assigning them to a template. You assign that template to tenants, and we automatically push those settings out across your entire customer base. That allows you to standardize, even if you want to do some custom settings. It enables standardization and gives you that governance capabilities as well. So if somebody deviates from the settings that you've defined for your 365 customers, you'll know about it right in our portal really quickly. So that amounts to up to 80% time savings for your management and configuration tasks for your 365 customers. So stop wasting time, right? If you want to learn more about the solution, come see us in our breakout room. Going to be there hanging out for a while, and come ask your questions, and hope to see you there. Have a good one.
Great. Well, thanks, Andy, for presenting. We're going to be posting the poll here shortly. It should be up in a moment. Answering the poll questions that our producer sends out after each presentation is a great way you can give critical feedback to our vendors and ultimately the channel. Going to hand it over to you, Alban.
Thank you. A couple of exciting things happening in December. One of them is our M&A Growth Show happening in Dallas, December 11th. If you are not planning on attending, it is an MSP M&A Growth Show. It's a one-day event designed for MSP business owners and C-level executives who are interested in acquisition. Attendees will learn from leading experts about raising capital, navigating the acquisition process, and the current tech landscape. The event offers networking, one-on-one matchmaking sessions focusing on driving sales and profitability for MSPs in 2024. We also have a very fun event called Holidays. If you are familiar with Channel Days that happened in July, it is similar to that. It will be over the span of 10 days. We have a ton of holiday sponsors who will be bringing gifts, and we will be raffling those gifts off to MSPs. So that will be coming soon. There will be a landing page and a place to register. So take a look at that. I highly recommend attending and entering for your chance to win a prize.
Excellent. And we did just have our M&A growth show in Newark this week, and it was hugely successful. So if you haven't gone and looked at the growth shows, I highly recommend that you do that. Auburn, how are we doing on the polls? Are we almost done? How much longer are we looking at?
I think just a little bit longer. Looks like they be finishing up. 30 seconds.
30 seconds left. Make sure you're filling in the polls.
And a reminder for the channel meetings poll if you'd like to learn more about channel meetings.
Oh, that's right. How are we doing? I think we should almost be there, ready for our next presenter. You're keeping an eye on it there, Auburn. Let me know when they give us the green light to introduce our next presenter.
We're good to go. So our third vendor to present at Channel Engage is Mike, the Strategic Partner Sales Executive at ConnectWise.
Take it from here, Mike.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much. My name is Mike Campion, calling in from Ottawa, Canada here, knee-deep in fall leaves and pretty excited about IT Nation around the corner starting early November. Just a quick bio. I started working with MSPs back in 2005 with Level Platforms up here in Ottawa. Joined ConnectWise in 2012. So for about the last 20 years, I've been pretty knee-deep in remote monitoring and management tools and working with MSPs in order to, improve service delivery, maximize profits, and drive automation and efficiency. So today we're going to be talking about CWRMM. And at a very high level here, there's a number of components. Yes, RMM tools all do very similar things here. I'm just going to focus on a couple of things that stand out for RMM at ConnectWise here. Our remote monitoring management tool, CWRMM, is actually born out of an amalgamation of the Continuum platform that we purchased many years ago. And we introduced that to ConnectWise Automate, formerly known as LabTech. So we've got this new RMM tool that takes the power of scripting and automation from Automate, combined with the architecture, growth, and scalability of Continuum. This product's called CWRMM. A couple of key features of the tool is our remote access. Our world famous Screen Connect is baked into the product. Patching is something that stands out quite a bit with our partners here. Our patches are tested, automated, and deployed on your behalf. This takes a lot of work off your plate. And of course, network monitoring and management. Traditionally, RMM tools are very weak in this aspect, but we've actually established a great relationship with Avik and have network monitoring and management baked into the product. Not full-scale Avik, but Avik-like functionality there too. Another key part that my partners love about RMM is the ability to integrate expert services here. So what I'm talking about is we actually have the ability to layer on NOC and help desk as well to take this work and minutia off your plate. All right, so any ConnectWise partners out there have probably heard the term ASIO. Think of ASIO as a platform. Think of Salesforce or Apple, right? ASIO is our platform as a service. CWRMM is one component already born and bred inside of the ASIO platform. Single sign-on, think of it as an app. You have your PSA, your RMM, and all your cybersecurity tools running inside of the ASIO platform. I'm a big fan of this because we're getting away from integrations. We're getting into more app-driven applications inside the platform that are sharing data in the data lake down below. So we can leverage AI to make sense of the alerts and drive automation here. So some advantages of RMM that really stick out here in my mind is the intelligent monitoring of alerts that come out of the box, okay? Also, the ability to have backup monitoring all in a single pane of glass. I touched on the patch management. This is really key though. Patch Tuesdays is time consuming. It's a lot of work. We take all that work off your plate. You guys can focus on other revenue generating activities at your organization here. At the end of the day, we want to just drive automation and have less clicks, right? We want everyone to be as efficient as possible. Here's a cool little quote that from our friend Matt McCarthy over at AMP. Our technician felt that all he had to do was check a box and RMM did everything else. And that's what we're looking for here, driving efficiencies and ultimately having a positive impact on the bottom line. So what I hear in talking with MSPs is they will disable RMM functionality, right? Everything's too noisy. Everything's creating too many alerts. We do not recommend that whatsoever. We do not recommend turning off any kind of ROI. The intelligent alerts here are made to help you. You will not get an alert for the same activity. AI will roll the same multiple alerts into one alert, saving you guys time and energy from clicking around. Now, on this stuff, right out of the box, we've got 1,200 plus alerts based on best practices as well. So again, driving efficiency, setting up custom and complex monitors, this is all out of the box functionality. Again, we're looking to make you guys more efficient here. So how does this work? Well, the alerts come in, they feed into the automation machine, right? Tasks and scripts are automatically deployed to remediate any issues. By the way, time is tracked against these scripts for billing purposes as well. But if you guys also want to lean on our NOC services that you can add on a la carte, our NOC team can intervene and take care of alerts on your behalf. This is an extension of your business. They work for you. It is a great way to grow and scale. We all know the problem of finding and retaining good talent out there. All right, here's another quick little quote from our friends over, our friend Travis Willis with RMM. I've definitely noticed the ease of onboarding a new customer. We also see a crazy amount of tickets coming in, but at the end of the day, upwards of 200 are getting auto cleared. These two things are the biggest savings for us. That's great work. That's leveraging the power of automation and AI combining like tickets. So I talked about, this is a big differentiator for ConnectWise RMM, and this is the ability to layer on help desk and NOC. By the way, you can customize this via 24/7, after hours, weekend support, it's up to you. But this is really helping MSPs, our MSPs, grow and scale without having to hire additional expensive talent and also retaining that talent. So a big plus, a very big, important part of our service. We have a full SOC as well. And of course, a part of the ConnectWise ecosystem are the user groups, the twice annual IT Nation events. It's a community that is a giant brain share. We wise together, we rise together, meaning, hey, we are a collection of people that have like-minded thoughts and want to share technology wins. So that is my presentation about CWRMM today. Thank you very much. I hope you can join Connor for a deep dive technical demonstration. It was wonderful to be a part of this event. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Great. Thank you, Mike, very much for presenting today. Make sure you take your time to fill out the poll with your questions the next 2 minutes. So any minute now, that poll's going to be posted. Also, as a reminder, our host chat is reserved for questions you have for our producer. The moderators, vendors, and attendees will not see any of your chats. So this is a great way to remain anonymous. While the poll is up, I just thought I'd take the opportunity to tell you about my IT spend. We've launched this tool to provide MSPs a way to manage their vendor contracts and subscriptions. In its simplest form, the idea is that you never miss another renewal date ever again. Our upgraded options also include insights into their clients' IT spending, which is amazing, and it helps MSPs track and manage technology expenses across their client base. So we'd love to share more with you about this. Our producer is actually going to post a link in the chat where you could schedule a consult with one of our sales reps to learn more about my IT spend. And you can always visit the website also and fill in a form to reach out to sales there.
And Lisa,
I
think my IT spend is incredibly important. There's something else that's important that I must ask you. Just given your orange shirt and Halloween's right around the corner, what's your go-to Halloween candy?
I think Kit Kats is my go-to Halloween candy.
So you like chocolate?
I do.
Chocolate
and it has to
candy?
be dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, dark chocolate.
Oh, very nice.
What about you?
I don't know. I tend to lean more towards like Skittles.
So you're more of a candy girl, less of a chocolate girl.
Yep. All right, the poll is still rolling. What about your favorite Halloween movie?
You know, I'm really not into Halloween style movies. I do not like a scary movie. But if I had to mention one that I've watched a number of times, I think it's like, what's Freddy Krueger? What's the name of that movie? That's probably the one I like watching the best. It's super scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't do scary either. We're down to 30 seconds on the poll.
Excellent.
So we will be wrapping up here any minute. All right. Our next presenter is Michael, the Senior Vice President, Managed Security Services at SonicWall.
Hey there, Mike. We'll let you take it from here.
Right on. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you very much. Name is Michael Crane, Senior Vice President, Managed Security Services. Some of you may know me from a former life of being the CEO and founder of Solutions Granted. And for those of you that don't know, Solutions Granted was acquired by SonicWall in November of last year. So when you think about SonicWall, it's a 33-year-old company founded in great traditions of network security. Here's the one thing I don't want anybody thinking that we are and we're not. One, we're far more than just a firewall company. And two, we are not owned by Dell. Once upon a time, but that's been a very long time ago. We have changed, and we've changed because the security landscape is changing. Networks have become far more complex. Your distributed users are becoming more common as they're everywhere out there. The threats are growing in volume and sophistication, mostly because we've been adopting the cloud and the amount of devices that we have and the way people are working from home. And you, our partners, are evolving. And so we need to meet your needs so that you can meet your customers' needs. So how are we evolving? Well, one, we will continue to make great firewalls, wireless access points, and switches. We have really worked on our MSP, MSSP enablement, something that I am very proud and fond of because of the ownership of Solutions Granted, the Managed Security Services division that sits within SonicWall, and our cloud edge security. So if you've heard of this little thing called SASE or ZTNA or SSE, we have a technology that we've acquired recently. We are right now launching our Sonic platform, which brings all of this together, that elusive unicorn, that single pane of glass. We're going to continue to back that by our 24/7 world-class technical support. And we're right now in the process of also launching a cyber insurance warranty to go along with some of the services that we're offering. Some of what I like to do is bring some education. And so I bring my friend the pirate, because what's a pirate's favorite letter? It's the R. So let's talk about the R's, because there's a lot of confusion out there. Let's talk about it like your home. Everybody that lives in a home, whether it's an apartment, a townhouse, a single family home, whatever it may be, we have doors and windows. We lock those doors and windows. That's your antivirus. We know what's good, we know what's bad, and your doors and windows act very much like that. If we know that that person is good and they don't have access, they won't come in. If we know they're bad and they're not trying to break down the door or window, well, then it keeps them out. Then I've got my friend Leroy. Leroy and I have been on a journey for 3 years. When we rescued him, Leroy's got a lot to say. When a squirrel runs across the front yard, he barks and he goes a little bit crazy. When somebody pulls into my driveway, it's a rather long driveway at the top of the hill, he gets a little more aggressive, gets a little bit more agitated. If you are the Amazon person, I swear to you, there's a database out there that says run, drop, package, move quickly because dog will eat you. And if he could get through the door, I know he would do it. Leroy is very much like an EDR. They're loud, they're obnoxious, they're noisy, they have a lot to say. But if nobody's there to hear Leroy, nobody responds. If I'm home, I become the MDR to the EDR because now I can manage that detection and that response that he's given to me. And then you look at the other aspects of your home. You've got your cameras, you've got a smoke alarm, maybe you've got a water detection, maybe you've got all of that hooked up to some home security monitoring, and they can see the doors and the window. They can hear Leroy barking, they can look at the cameras, and they can make a decision with all of those points of telemetry of what they're going to do because now that XDR solution becomes complete. They can see the difference between a door opening when the alarm is set and a full-blown attack on the house. Hopefully that helps everyone understand a little bit more about the R's. So all of you probably think, SonicWall, yeah, I've heard of them. I understand they build firewalls. So what? It's a lot more than so what. We are an open ecosystem. The defense across the attack space is important to me. It's important to us. And you can see by the offerings that we have on this page, we provide MDR services for Capture Client, SentinelOne, Cylance, Windows Defender, Sophos. We've got another huge announcement that we will make in the next 30 days that I think is going to be amazing and powerful for the SMB, MSPs out there. We also provide CDR or MDR for the cloud, depending on how you want to talk about it. We've got our SOC services and the more traditional NDR, where you're talking about the switches, routers, firewalls, domain controllers, other core and critical assets. We do it for Checkpoint, Palo Alto, WatchGuard, of course, SonicWall, pfSense, Meraki, Cisco, and maybe lots of other vendors that I just don't have enough time to mention, or maybe I forgot. But the really important part to all of this is we do this as a cost per seat per month with no annual commits and no minimum. So every MSP has a home at SonicWall. I talked a little bit about the acquisition that we made so that we brought in this company called Banyan Security. And so now we have our own SSE, ZTNA, SASE service. And for all of you SonicWall partners out there, if you're running a Generation 7 box and you're running the 7.1.2 firmware, you now have that connector built into the firewall. For all of you non-SonicWall partners, we still have a way to make that technology work for you that's completely agnostic, that sits behind any device out there, that can give you access to the traditional core things that you need on net and all of the things that you potentially need off net. The most important part is we are more interested in you, the people, because you are the ones that take our technology and make it special. With your people, our people, the processes that they put in place, then the technology becomes really amazing, really fantastic. Just like going to a mechanic, it's really not about the tools, it's more about the person. SMBs are not immune. No matter what your clients tell you, they are under attack, and they are under attack more than anything. What we have found, these are all of the reasons. If you take all of the technologies out there and all of the AI and all of the ML and you throw it in there, these reasons will still cause you to fail. The lack of MFA, human mistakes account for 95% of all compromises that take place out there. And our security operations center that's here in the United States, we don't outsource it. We don't follow the sun. We don't take it anywhere else. So when you're talking to one of us at the SonicWall Managed Security Services team, you know that you're dealing with somebody that's here in the same country that you're at to support you and your needs. 83% of compromises that we're dealing with today are coming from Microsoft 365, Google Workspace because of identity. The vast majority of them come from a bad configuration, human mistake, or the lack of MFA. MFA is not a silver bullet. It doesn't fix everything, but it can certainly help lots of things. When we look at the last year of what we've had, these are the top 5 vulnerabilities that are out there running. And if you look at Heartbleed and Shell Shock, they are 10 years old. We're still dealing with 10-year-old vulnerabilities because we're so reliant on what the new GWiz technology is going to do. So why SonicWall and our managed security services? One, it's a critical layer of security. We provide you that 24/7, 365 support. We help take care of that alert fatigue. We bring you the resources that are really expensive and hard to get. and we become a natural extension of your team so that you can sleep peacefully at night, and we will help take care of you and your customers' needs. Look forward to talking to everybody else as we continue the rest of this day on the journey.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Michael, for presenting today. The poll is going to go up in just a moment now. So make sure you take your time to answer the poll questions. Got about 2 minutes for that. While that's happening, Orban, I thought I'd mention the upcoming cyber map. I know I just talked about the technology map, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning that we also have a cyber map that we're going to launch in February of next year. So we'll also be launching an IT management one as well. So like I said, it's going to be February for the cyber report, and the IT management one we're going to be launching in June. Both of these reports are more than just a list of vendors. They're a tool to make smart decisions about technology in this crowded marketplace. These guides are designed to help you navigate the growing tech landscape in these focused areas. So look for those. We'll definitely be posting lots of information about it. So February and June, just want to plug that there. Orban, let's go back and talk a little bit more about Halloween. I did remember what that movie was. That it's called A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger comes out in your dreams. Super scary. That I really, really can't stand watching that. But
if you Google that movie, it's actually based on articles for like a true story. There's articles that came out like the LA Times, and they base that movie, and it's so scary.
Yeah.
I think it makes it scarier that it's real time or from real life.
Yeah, I can't believe that. It's crazy. Anyway, we both agree we do not like to watch horror movies. What other things do you do at Halloween? Do you got any parties you're going to this year, or
wish? Except I have a 9-month-old at home now.
Oh,
so we're actually dressing up as astronauts, and my husband is going to be making her wagon a space shuttle. So we're going trick-or-treating. Prior to baby, yes, parties probably would have been on the list, but now it's trick-or-treating and probably home by 9 o'clock, in bed by 9:30.
Yeah.
So Lisa, looks like we've got 30 seconds left on the poll.
Excellent.
We'll be wrapping it up here any second.
Awesome. And who do we have up next?
So our next presenter today is Akshaya, the head of outbound strategy at SuperOps.
Excellent.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me today. It's such a pleasure to meet you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present here today. I'm Akshaya Chandrasekharan, and I'm the head of outbound marketing and strategy for SuperOps. A little bit about my own background. I primarily come from the SaaS or the software as a service space. And recently, for the past 1 year, I've been working at SuperOps to kind of help MSPs build out their maximize their efficiency and profitability with SuperOps. And that's what we'll be talking about today in this presentation, is how to stand out from the competition with a future-ready PSARMM. So to start off with, I just want to start off with a statistic, and it is indeed the era of the MSP. I think that is pretty clear. The global MSP market was valued around 42.9 billion in 2021, and that's just growing at a rate of about 8% every year. And it's extremely critical that MSPs are one of the most profitable businesses in this era, and particularly with the state of the economy in the whole world right now. This is primarily driven by, digital transformation and how companies are switching to the cloud and adopting more cost-efficient, time-saving solutions, which means that there is a huge market for managed services providers, specifically in the SMB space, which is really kind of adopting the cloud solutions in 2024. That's an important trend that we're seeing. But what does that mean actually when you're actually one of the very few businesses that are profitable in 2024, given the state of the economy? This also means that you have extremely stiff competition. And when in the previous era, you were just you could easily dominate a local area. Now you have, as much as the opportunity is growing, you have multiple MSPs in your area, and you're really looking at being, replaced by somebody else. And this is very clear in the state of the MSP report, which is 35% of MSPs viewed competition as their biggest challenge in 2024. So what becomes very important for MSPs is value creation. Value creation is key for differentiation. So how are MSPs finding that? Of course, is finding a niche specialization. Something like accounting, hospitals and clinics, or schools. Things like this would give you a lot of trust and credibility in a local market, and help you win more people, scale into other markets as well. And adopting new technologies like AI, automation, and everything that you can also start a cybersecurity service, something that's we're seeing MSSP as a new category of MSPs in 2024. But most importantly, improving customer service is something that MSPs are looking at as key for value creation. This is very obvious in the next style that I want to talk to you about. That 44% of MSPs are saying improving the customer experience is a top priority. 47% regarded as a high priority. And what does customer experience actually mean? That's a key question here, because for me, one you're talking about the marketing and sales aspect of customer experience, how you acquire, retain your customers, and the whole experience through the funnel. Myself being a marketing professional, that's a critical aspect of uh, yeah, your customer experience that MSPs are focusing on, given the innumerable amount of courses and marketing and sales content that does very well. It's traditionally a weakness of an MSP, but the other aspect of it is the kind of tech stack that you're actually using, and how does it help you to improve your productivity and your efficiency inside your organization? The kind of service delivery that you're able to do, how much you're able to keep your SLAs, manage new project, take on new project, manage your contracts, and how does automation and AI improve technicians' productivity, as well as your the management or owners' productivity, as well as profitability of the business as well. So in adopting such technologies obviously has given them a very, very high boost in their internal productivity, which means that they are able to focus on other things like actually doing sales and marketing to differentiate themselves. So a key question here is, what does your tech stack do for you? Does it enable or inhibit your growth as an MSP? Because if you're looking at the landscape right now, when I mean tech stack, you're obviously looking at PSA and RMM. And what right now we have is huge legacy players which have disjointed and siloed products, which have been, I have to say, acquired and integrated into each other. They're slow, they're not cloud native, and you have to have a lot of effort in onboarding and taking up a new product. I mean, if you're onboarding a new technician or even onboarding a new client, it's really slow and overpriced as well. You also have long-term contracts that you have to be stuck with, and they're difficult to maintain and not scalable, which is really important in this era if you want to be as profitable in the space that is the MSP space right now. So how does SuperOps really solve this problem is what I want to talk to you about here. We are automation first unified PSA automation platform. We put together 4 critical things: IT documentation, project documentation, project management and you have PSA and RMM, this gives you a very highly contextual interface that will allow you to quickly manage, quickly onboard into the platform, as well as improve efficiency and profitability. We're also integrated to several other platforms, and we offer a single pane of glass support. So we have real results in our platform has shown about 4 hours a day in technician time saved and about 80% reduction in customer phone calls. And technicians and managers have seen extremely good results with increased efficiency, streamlined operations, improved decision making, etc. So I just wanted to go over quickly about some of our values. We are cloud native, we have a transparent roadmap, and we do not have any contracts. We have extremely world-class support, and you can pay per use as you go. And it's basically a cloud SaaS platform. So we're trusted by over 1,000 plus MSPs in the world right now, and we have a 25% running offer for anybody who would love to actually join our roundtable. Our breakout room that we have organized post this presentation, and we'll be really happy to have you. You can sign up, and thank you so much for having me today.
Great. Thank you, Akshaya, for presenting today. We appreciate it. And the poll's going to be going up in just a moment here, another 2 minutes. I do want to mention, Auburn, it's a pretty busy month here at Channel Program.
Yep.
October, November, December, we have tons of events. We are going to be at DataCon. That's next week. So if anybody's going to be there, don't hesitate to stop by our booth. And we're also going to be at IT Nation beginning of November. So that is a busy month. There's a few other things. I think we have a Robin Robbins event that we're attending as well. So lots of things for us to participate in. So, Robin,
Oh, I think you went out on me like a little bit. You paused for a second.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I was asking you what your Thanksgiving plans were.
Oh my gosh. Our family, we live in Tampa. We are going to be flying up to Charlotte to visit my family for Thanksgiving and my husband's family for Thanksgiving. So we're going to be very, very busy traveling from grandparents to my parents to his parents. So we're going to be on the road a lot. I heard something about a huge table, 22 people that's going to be at, what is that, your house for Thanksgiving? I want to hear all about this.
Yeah. So our Thanksgiving is very large in our family. It's like, it's not all my family. It's kind of like more of friends and family, but there are 22 people at Thanksgiving table. And this year it's my turn to actually cook the turkey for the 22 people. So that is a lot of people to be preparing turkey for, but it's actually one of the things I love the most. I prefer Thanksgiving over Christmas as a holiday. So I can't wait for it. It's going to be a super great time. Lots and lots of fun.
So what you're saying is you like food. You
what?
like food.
Yeah, I definitely like food. All the trimmings, everything. It's a great time.
Good. Oh, it's exciting. It's great to be around family. Being in Tampa, I'm not around mine very frequently, so I'm excited to be up there, and I'll be up there for 10 days. So,
that'll be super nice.
Yeah.
How are we doing on the poll?
30 seconds left.
30 seconds.
Yep. So we're wrapping up. And I believe that our next presenter today is David, the CEO and founder at Mail Protector.
All right. So we'll be bringing him on. Hi, David. We'll let you
take
it from here.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate all that y'all do and appreciate you being here. And I guess also, first thing I need to do is say thanks to our Mail Protector partners that are part of the channel program. We've been involved with this platform really since the first couple of weeks it came out. You guys have given us a lot of badges, and I just want to tell you that we deeply, deeply appreciate that feedback. We're honored by the words that you expressed to us there. It means a lot to our team because they work very, very hard every day to keep you and your customers secure. We're honored by that, and we're honored by the trust that you place in us to partner with us. It means a lot to our team, so thank you. And if you're one of our partners, you know why we exist and what we think about this technology. Email is this awesome technology that really is on the order of the printing press or the telegraph wire that was made to connect people. And it gives us the ability to connect with people all around the world. And something happened, unfortunately, along the way. These are stats from the 2024 Verizon data breach report. 90% of all cyber attacks now begin with email. What happened is this awesome tool became a chore that we had to manage, or a threat that we had to fear, instead of this great communication tool. And as MSPs who are responsible for keeping your customers, your businesses and your users secure, this is our problem. And if you don't have essentially a 50-second response time, then you're behind the game. The bad guys, the enemy, will score on you, because this is what it takes right now to be breached. And this is why, as you deploy a cybersecurity stack, email security cannot be an afterthought. It has to be the core foundation of your security stack, or you're essentially always going to be playing catch up. You'll always be behind the game, when this is how 90% of your threats come in. And this is what happens when your users see the threats, or when they get them. So if you're going to solve this problem once and for all, how do you solve it? Well, to solve it, you have to understand what the problem really is. And to do that, you have to go back and understand that email is not an application that's owned by anyone. It's a protocol. And this is the network that the protocol was created for. It wasn't created for the internet. Email, the SMTP protocol, was created for ARPANET. And in this network, you had to have permission to get on the network. You had to be vetted and verified. You had to have permission. And so the protocol was created as an open protocol. Well, the problem is, this is the network. Actually, if we were truly drawing the network, this whole slide would probably be just completely black at this point. But what happened is the network opened up. You didn't have to have permission to be on the network anymore, but the protocol didn't change. The protocol was based on that assumption of the open network. So that is our core problem today. Our core problem is that we have a permission problem. And what we've got to do to solve this is we've got to be penicillin and not Tylenol. And to do that, you have to apply a core cybersecurity principle, or a core security principle that's really been around since the 80s in firewalls, and that's the principle of zero trust. Well, nobody has done this before. Nobody's applied zero trust to email because, like I said, it's not an application. It's a protocol. So nobody owns it. So it's very, very difficult to apply zero trust to email because of this. You have to put together this very intricate, complicated puzzle to solve the security problem. And unfortunately, or for whatever reason, you can't solve the security problem without solving the usability problem. It's actually not too hard to solve the security problem, but then you have complete inusability. The technology is gone. It's not used for what it's made for. So you have to solve the usability problem as you solve the security problem. Nobody's done this before until today. We recently launched Shield, which is the first and only zero trust email security product on the market. It applies those core principles of zero trust email security to completely eliminate threats from the inbox, to go back to solving the problem of permission, the ultimate problem. And this is where Shield sits in the Mail Protector suite of products, in the protection, privacy, and productivity side, which also includes, as you can see, backup and archiving, diagnostics, encryption, because we want to come around this entire technology to make it this beautiful, usable technology. We deployed internally practically just about a year ago now. And I can tell you through we're a 365 shop here, through Defender and through some legacy products, I would still get about a phishing message every day through legacy email security. Since we've deployed Shield internally, I haven't received a threat to my inbox. I haven't received a phish, ransomware, malware to my inbox in a year. Not a single message. What used to take 30 to 40 minutes a day. Literally, it was part of an assistant's job is 30 to 40 minutes a day is managing email. I now do it myself in about 5 minutes a week, maybe 10 minutes on a really heavy week, 5 to 10 minutes. We've turned this technology back to what it should be by solving the security and the management problem. This is one of our users, Andy Laren. Andy's on our partner advisory council. He's got an MSP in Canada. He had priority or early access to Shield, and basically, they've described it as game changing. It totally changes the dynamic. I told you there's 100 things you have to do, a lot of technologies you have to put together. I'll give you a couple here real quick, just a little snippet, and our folks can show you some more of those. But this is what we call HUD. It's a dynamic banner in every single message that adjusts to the current conditions and gives your users reports. It's not a Post-it note. Who's sick of seeing Post-it notes all over their email? And this one right here, look at us as this one is actually fairly offensive. It should be to us as security professionals, and it should be to anybody who's protecting users. This, when we see this, what this says is we've just given up. We're now asking our users to solve the problem instead of doing it ourselves. I knew I was going to hear that ding way before I was ready for it. Anyway, this is an awesome part of Shield called X-Ray. We provide security training within. We give the users tools, but we take away the sharp knives. So this is completely neutered right here, an image that they can't hurt themselves with. They can follow the links, analyze files, lock sensitive data within the inbox. So if the 365 account is breached, that data is not exposed. We add the privacy capabilities on today, especially this is my personal inbox. With burner addresses, some locked messages, and trackers removed, so I can turn images back on and experience email the way it was meant to be. A lot of you folks who know us, you know who we are. We've been doing this a long time. We're a partner-first company. We've got deep experience, deep roots in the technology. Former MSP is our VP of service. When our folks pick up the phone, they expect to be talking to a partner. So we'd love to talk to you more about Shield, more about what we can do, and see if we may be able to help solve some problems for you. So love to have a chat in our breakout room here in a few minutes. Enjoyed being with you today.
Great. Thank you, David, so much. We appreciate it. So yes, once again, the poll questions are going up. We're going to have about 2 minutes as we do each time. So answer the poll. While that's happening, I did think I'd mention the Channel CEO podcast. Our CEO, Kevin Lancaster, he goes one-on-one almost weekly with some of the brightest entrepreneurs and executives in the IT channel. So just a reminder, go out there and make sure you Google Kevin Lancaster and his channel program podcast and tune in each week to some of the people that he brings on to chat with. Orvin, what should we talk about next?
I don't know.
What are you up to this weekend?
This weekend, we are doing pumpkin patch, and we are going to carve some pumpkins. And I don't think Halloween is Halloween if you don't get a picture of your child in a pumpkin, is what I understand is what we're doing these days. So we'll be putting Stella into a pumpkin and taking her photo. Excited for that. But I hear you have a trip coming up.
Yeah, so I'm actually up in New York City this weekend. So very excited to visit with my daughter who actually lives here. I love some time in the city. I think we're going to catch a show on Saturday night. And actually one of my cousins, I'm originally from Australia. So one of my cousins from Australia is actually visiting New York City this weekend. So I'll get to catch up with her. So it's
amazing.
Hopefully going to be a really good time. Fall in the city, nothing could be better.
Wonderful. That is amazing. That sounds like an exciting trip. How long will you be there? You going the whole weekend or long weekend?
Coming back on Sunday.
Wow, it's going to be packed. You're going to be busy.
Yeah, going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah. Well,
how are we doing with the poll? How much longer do we have here? Is everyone?
We got another minute or so.
We've got another minute or so. Yeah. So some other things I like to do in New York. So my daughter is actually a chef. So she works in a restaurant called Sailor, which is in Brooklyn. So hoping to get some time to go see what's new there. They changed their menu out seasonally, so I haven't yet had a chance to be there for the fall. So looking forward to that as well. And just some, there's just always so much to do in New York City. So really looking forward to spending some time here. It's been a couple of months since I've been able to take a trip up here. So very much looking forward to that.
Exciting.
And Orban, I remember your days with young ones for Halloween. I think it's the most fun. I don't have any young ones anymore, but I remember those days. Most kids seem to love the trick-or-treating of Halloween. So it's,
It's been a while for me. My inner child is excited to go trick-or-treating.
That's great.
The polls are down, so we are moving to our last presenter of the day, Ryan, who is the Chief Revenue Officer at SaaS Alerts.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. And I don't know if you guys planned this by putting me right after Mail Protector, but it's awesome because we're going to beat the same drum a little bit about where you guys are in the environment and some of the risks that you're facing. I didn't ask for Jay's permission to use this quote, so I didn't put his full name. But if you don't know what SaaS Alerts is, this product exists because you are not living in a risk-free world. SaaS Alerts, the name is pretty on the nose. You can probably guess where we operate, but our focus is ensuring that you guys have visibility and quick response to threats inside of your SaaS applications, which typically has been a blind spot for a lot of MSPs. So let's just start with the numbers. And this next 7 minutes is going to be more about the landscape than about the product, but I promise I'll get into it a little bit. This is all from IC3.gov and the Fortune report. They reported that 62% of all of the cybercrime was identity-based attacks. No endpoint, no malware payload, no infrastructure attack, just tricking people into doing things they shouldn't. In those inboxes that Mail Protector does assist with making sure it doesn't get in as often as possible, 98.6% of the threats are email impersonation. There's, again, no payload. It's just, hey, here's a document that you need to view. Please authenticate to get in. And in 2023, 21,849 business email compromise cases were reported to the IC3, accounting for $2.9 billion in losses. Just for context, IC3 had $34.3 million in losses reported from ransomware. 2.9 billion business email compromise, 34.3 million ransomware. So there's a pivot. But let's bring it into the MSP space, a little closer to home. In the last year, we've had 1,113 MSPs enable the Respond module inside of SaaS Alerts, which gives you the automatic ability to respond when we see a token theft, as an example. And keep in mind, most of our partners do have a SOC or a SIM or some MDR in place. The pain point is that those things don't take global admin creds into your M365 or Google Workspace tenants. So really all they can do is throw a ticket over the fence at you when something goes wrong. The Respond module automatically remediates when we see a threat and allows you to do the analysis after the fact. So you can think of it like an antivirus approach to business email compromise. In the 9 months starting this year, 2024, we've remediated almost 16,000 business email compromises, or about 14 per MSP that we're partnered with. So this is a pervasive threat. It's all over the news. This is tiny. I don't expect you guys to be able to see it, but there's a link in here. If anybody's interested in the presentation, let us know during the breakout. You're going to see these things constantly. AI tooling is making it more prevalent. Arctic Wolf said about 70% of the businesses that do business with them were targeted by business email compromise. Session token theft. Spiceworks is all about it. They're talking about that stuff. Google saying, hey, stop blaming us. It's not an API abuse. It's just standard token theft. You're falling for it. Proofpoint got used for it, caused more token theft. Microsoft Azure admits that if you're using Azure, you're just a little bit more likely to experience phishing account takeover because people are using Azure to do low and slow campaigns and messing people up inside of Azure environments. But what we want to get into is what can you do to protect against token theft, as this is the most pervasive threat that you're currently presented with. If you have a SIM, a SOC, or an MDR, and you think that those are the things that are going to resolve it for you, and you happen to be a fan of the Mel Brooks classic Robin Hood Men in Tights, then you're probably going to appreciate this reference. There's a scene in the movie where Dave Chappelle's Chew is getting beat up by the sheriff of Rottingham's guards, and Carrie Ellis's Robin Hood jumps in to help. During the fight, Robin Hood says, hey, watch my back. Chew watches him get punched in the back twice, and then lets him know, hey, your back just got punched twice. That's all your SIM, your SOC, and your MDR are going to do in the event of a business email compromise or a token theft. Just tell you something bad already happened. So on the other side of it, if you're relying on ZTNA, conditional access policies, or ATP, please understand, according to Microsoft, those things aren't effective in stopping token theft because conditional access policies and ZTNA reliant on conditional access policies only fire at the login event. During a token theft, there is no login event. The token is stolen, replayed in another session, bypassing conditional access and MFA. So if that's what you're doing to stop token theft, you're not doing anything to resolve it. So what you can do without SaaS alerts, if you'd like, is you can reduce the lifetime session of your session tokens. Make your customers log in as often as you can without driving them nuts. So if somebody does get in, they're not in for that long. You can implement phishing-resistant MFA solutions, YubiKeys, FIDO2, etc. Will it stop it? No, but it'll make your customers think twice before they click on something they shouldn't. And then follow the DART recommendations. Keep an eye out for mailbox forwarding rules, data egress, MFA enablement, disablement, etc. But that requires you to stare at the logs. If you don't have time to do that, what SaaS alerts can do for you is a few things. Real-time monitoring of normal use behavior, automatic remediation, combined with RMM unification. You can map your customers' devices to their cloud accounts and identify when they're operating off a device you've never seen before without putting another agent on your end user's devices. You can even use Entra ID if it's BYOD. We'll help you with that configuration management in the beginning, and we'll track for drift. So we'll take some other tool that you might be paying for or managing currently and bundle it along with your ongoing maintenance and monitoring of your M365, Google Workspace, Salesforce, Slack, Dropbox, you name it. That mapping is critical. We'll also we'll actually monitor everything that you guys have for one price per user, per account, not for all the things they're using. So if you have M365, Salesforce, Slack, and Dropbox, still one user monitoring all four of those things for the individuals. And for you guys, your domain, your MSP tools, your IT glue, your RMM, all of those things are monitored for free if you're a partner of ours. There's a whole lot more to it. We have a lot of information that we have available that you wouldn't otherwise get to see that lets you know if somebody's using a known Tor browser or a VPN where they don't normally do it. We can even identify if somebody's using a Linux. Customers can't even spell Linux. That's not them. So there's a lot of information in there. It's future proof because the rules can always be updated to focus on the next threat vector. A bunch of rules, templates, examples. We'll be able to go over all of this in the breakout session if you'll join us, and I truly hope you will. Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. Well, I think our final poll is going up. So make sure you fill in our poll. And Orban, I'll pass it over to you. I think you've got a few things you want to tell us towards the end of this event.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Lisa, and thank everybody who joined today and our presenters. A final reminder for the polls. Any minute we will be broadcasting a page with all our vendors' breakout rooms. We'll keep this page live for 30 minutes. You can visit more than one breakout room. Simply come back to this tab page in your browser. We have a couple incentives. Actifile is offering a $50 Amazon gift card for those who attend the breakout session. If the prospect purchases Actifile license, we'll waive the first month's charge. Super Ops is offering 25% off on all plans for the first year. And SaaS alerts, October and November are free with a minimum 1-year commitment. I guess, yeah, thanks again for joining.
Yeah, those are some great incentives. So I really encourage everyone to get out there in the breakout rooms. You know, it's been really awesome to be here today, Orban. I don't know why we haven't done this before together. Maybe it's because I'm new at the channel program, but it has been great to do an event like this. I definitely enjoy it. What about you?
I think it's a great event. I also think I need to find myself going to New York soon to see your daughter try out some of these these chef's meals. It sounds like it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I definitely think of myself as a bit of a foodie, so I love to do the rounds and some of those new up and coming restaurants in the city, going to as many shows as I possibly can, and you know, making the most of it.
And what about shopping?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. you know how it is in New York City. I have a 23-year-old daughter, and what do you think she likes to do?
Shop.
She just likes to shop and you know, spend my money. I always like to say, you know, she's almost off my payroll, but she's not quite off there yet. She's getting there. Just a few more nudges, and she'll be completely independent. But yeah, so a little bit of shopping will be in order. Mums should take their daughters shopping, I guess, in New York City as much as you can.
Yeah.
So I know it's a little bit longer for this. We're getting ready to go to the breakout rooms. Auburn, what are we hearing? Are we almost at time to move on over?
It looks like we may have another poll going up.
Got another poll going up.
Award poll going up.
Okay. So we're going to post the award poll. So it'll be a little bit longer. We definitely want everyone to make sure they answer the award poll. Super important. We mentioned an incentive earlier for everybody filling in all of those polls. So yeah, we've definitely covered a lot of things today. We've talked about our tech map. So make sure you visit our website, go download the tech map, and be aware for the ones that are coming out next year, the cyber map, the IT management map, all the events we're going to be at in between now and the end of the year. Don't forget to tune into our CEO's podcast. Lots of great things here at the channel program. Make sure you visit our events page so you're up to date with all the things that we've got going on. We have another Engage event also. It's going to be in January of 25. So we, you know, maybe Auburn, you and I get to host that one together again. We can talk about some of the things we did at Christmas or something like that. So I think just a little bit longer on the polls, and then we'll be ready to go over to the break room. I think we're good to close up. Yep, I just saw the note that we're ready to go. So we'll head to the breakout rooms.